Writing a really solid cold email is probably the hardest part of doing outbound. And so what I wanted to do in this video was to go through a list of everything that you need to do in order to write a really solid cold email, what you need to add, what the components are, what the subject line should be, how long your sequences should be, anything that you could possibly need in order to get started writing an amazing cold email. There are two main things that you absolutely need for a good intro. The first one is personalization, and the second one is relevance. There are two ways of personalizing email copy that I like a lot. The first one is commenting on a company update. It shows that you've done your research on the company, and it also makes them feel good about whatever you're commenting on. The second way you can personalize outreach, and personally my favorite, is reminding them of intent. So what I mean by intent is something that shows a company has a particular need that needs to be fulfilled. Bringing up that intent in the beginning of an email is a great way to A, show you've done your research, B, show that you recognize the problem, and C, stage the scene for the rest of the email. There's absolutely no way a prospect will respond positively to your email if it's not relevant to the things that they're trying to achieve. For example, notice that your company raised a Series A 15 months ago. Are you looking to raise again soon? It's very simple, and it shows, hey, I did my research, saw you raise a Series A, and it's staging the question, are you looking to raise again soon? Insinuating that the next paragraph is going to have something to do with either a solution for raising money or a comment on raising money. The second component of a really good email is addressing the problem that the client is likely experiencing. You have to find a pain point that they're likely experiencing in order for you to solve it. For example, seems like your Instagram growth has been slowing, or notice that your website's SEO score is low. So you might be asking, how do you find this at scale for a ton of prospects? By far the best tool for this is Clay. It'll allow you to address the problem on a really granular level. Because as you can see here, there are two ways you can address a problem: really specific to the company or broader. Specific is far preferred because if you're able to address the exact problem that company is experiencing at any given time, they'll both respect the research that you did on them, and they'll also be way more likely to respond. For example, if you just say most SaaS companies have trouble growing their YouTube, yeah, that's true, but it's not really addressing anything that they might be directly experiencing. But if you can tell them, hey, your YouTube has declined in subscribers in the past 3 months, it's a lot more relevant, it's a lot more on the nose, and they're a lot more likely to listen to what you have to say. However, what are you going to do to solve that? Your value proposition is exactly that. It is your unique or distinct solution to the problem that the client might be interested in purchasing in order to alleviate the pain caused by the problem they're experiencing. The value prop should directly address the problem in a unique or distinct way if your market is saturated. For a market like lead generation, where there are hundreds, if not thousands of agencies created a year, you have to differentiate yourself in a way that is value adding to a prospect. So just saying we're a lead gen agency that helps companies close more deals, every lead gen agency does that. It's not really that enticing, and it's not showing any sort of differentiated solution to the ones that they've already been pitched. There's almost no way a decision maker at any major company has not heard of lead gen agencies and considered hiring one. So what is the differentiator that's going to allow you to stand out from the crowd? Better one would be, we use hyper-personalized sales automation to book meetings at a higher rate than anyone else. Fourth component of a great email is social proof. If you're just starting out with an agency or a company and you don't have any client results yet, you might not have social proof. It's the only one out of the 5 components that you might not be able to formulate or have. However, there's one way you can get a prospect to sign to you, even if you don't have any past client results, and that is having a spectacular offer. Your offer should be as enticing as is profitably possible. Any offer should give someone more time, money, or quality of life. If you have 100 clients, 20 case studies, and a wait list, the offer is simply being able to work with you. So you can pretty much say something like, you'll get X% SEO growth or you don't pay us, or we'll guarantee you 1,000 followers on LinkedIn per month. The great thing about a guarantee is that it de-risks the offer to the prospect by a ton, because you're pretty much promising results and they don't have to pay at all if they don't get them. So to them, it seems like a no-brainer. The second one is a free trial. This is really good, particularly for SaaS companies. So let's say, for example, you have a SaaS that offers a 14-day free trial generally on the website, and in the email, you offer them a 3-month free trial. Also de-risk the situation by allowing them to try out your software for 3 months, and if they like it, hey, they can subscribe and pay you money, and if not, they didn't have to pay anything. The third is a dinner meeting. This is particularly good for local leads or trying to contact somebody where the deal size is so big that you prefer to do it in person. A dinner meeting might be good for companies like real estate or for more traditional categories like construction. This is great because it's offering something free to the client while also allowing you guys to discuss the terms of your deal and hopefully giving the prospect a really solid perspective on you and your company. And the last one is a valuable piece of data. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. The first one would be a list of all the UGC content made for prospects. And what better way to prove that you're really good at managing UGC content than by sending them a list of every single piece of UGC content made for them in the last 30 days. It's both proving the concept that you're able to fulfill what you're telling them, and you're giving them something free for value. Next, I wanted to go into some tips that were given me by Eric Nowoslowski, who is one of the goats of cold email, and he recently released a document outlining all of his email tips and tricks. And the first one is structuring the email. So how many emails should I put in a sequence, and what should they each do? The first one is introducing the offer in a way that is enticing and allows the prospect to realize the problem that they're currently facing. Pretty much everything that I just went through work incredibly well in email 1, and you should absolutely do it. For email 2, you should do the same thing, but provide more context on what you do and provide more more value for the prospect in order for them to respond. By the time you're at email 3, you have to note that the prospect is open to emails now and not responding to you, so you have to make the offer better in order to bait them into booking a call with you. This might take some money off of your bottom line, but at the end of the day, if you're signing a client by making the offer better, I'd say it's a lot better than not signing any clients at all. And last but not least, email 4, finding a different decision maker. What I do for my clients is I generally just ask at the last email, hey, it doesn't seem like you are interested in our service. Is there somebody else at your company that might be? Because oftentimes they just aren't the right person to reach out to, and they'll direct you to somebody that actually is. A couple email tips from Eric: keep the email short. I say under 150 words, he says under 100. Regardless, you don't want to make it long, you don't want to make it winded. Stay away from spam words, and I would highly recommend using a spam word checker to do this. The third one is clearly communicate the reason you are reaching out. Be straightforward, tell them what your value prop is, tell them what your offer is. There's no reason to beat around the bush. The fourth one is write at a 5th grade level. Allow the prospect to read this thing easily. They don't feel like reading a Shakespearean sonnet about how you can fix their problems. You really just want to let them know, hey, this is the problem you're having, I do this, here's my offer. One of the most important ones that is noted in this email tips list is to make the message about them, not about you. The intro should be about them, the problem they're facing should be about them. The only time you should ever bring up yourself at all is when talking about the service you provide. And lastly, use social proof with quantitative results. Absolutely need to mention the numbers behind your social proof so the clients can understand exactly what you did for them instead of we had great results. That's really vague. It doesn't really provide them any value or information at all. They want to know how much money did you generate for them, what results did you get for them, and how much did it cost. The subject line should be incredibly simple. Think about when you're writing an email. I would say you rarely have a long, drawn out, salesy subject line. It should be very, very simple, just like you were writing an email to a friend. Those are the ones that have the highest open rates, and those are the ones that people generally like to respond to. Now I'm going to go into some examples of cold emails that I've written that you could possibly draw inspiration from when doing your own outbound. Congrats on the recent fundraise. Here's another intro line where I am calling out a recent company update. I'm sure it'll help continue your mission to blank. And so in this little mission thing, I would create a personalization within Clay that fits out the company mission in a way that fits a sentence. I'm the founder of Company. We're a spreadsheet that makes tracking analytics way easier than throwing everything into a Google Sheet. I'm sure you'd much rather do what Founder does than work on tedious analytics. Bringing up the problem again, and we're doing another personalization, pretty much just saying whatever we assume the founder does on a day-to-day basis. Any chance you want to hop on a call and I'll create a report for a company named Live. I'll create you a free report and all you have to do is hop on a call to see it. I'm giving them a ton of value here and it's showing them a way that solves a problem directly associated with something that is often experienced in their industry for their ICP at their current company size. Here's another one that did incredibly well for me. I actually got 1 positive response for every 10 emails I sent out here. I LinkedIn post personalization and checked your profile out afterwards. Great content. What I did here is create a personalization that called out a recent LinkedIn post of theirs. It's showing, hey, I looked at your LinkedIn profile and it's describing one of their LinkedIn posts in relative detail so they think that I actually did. I run socials at clay.com. Wanted to connect and show appreciation for the great sales content you've been posting, complimenting them and giving them a general reason as to why I'm reaching out. If you're interested, I'll send you an enriched lead list with emails of all the likers of your recent posts. Let me know if it's something you want. No strings attached or meeting required. This is a really different one because we're not selling anything off the bat. I'm just starting a relationship with an influencer in sales. But it did incredibly well because we offer them value without asking anything in return, which can generally be even better than trying to pitch them on selling something. Here are a couple that Eric Nowoslowski wrote. First name, I was on your site and it looks like you sell to job titles. It looks like you were trying to help AI generation. Then he said down here, are you thinking about how they could be leveraging better data in GPT-4 to do their prospecting, referring to their SDR or BDR? He's now pretty much saying you could be leveraging your data better. You probably aren't doing it correctly. I can fix that for you. He's immediately calling out a problem that the company is likely facing. And then the next sentence saying, the reason I ask is we help companies automate their cold outreach with large databases in GPT-4. And then he puts the offer right down here. Would this be worth a chat to build a custom outbound workflow for you? Suddenly you have every single one of these components in one email. And lastly, first name, I saw one of your recent LinkedIn posts about AI generation. Seems like the last time you posted was number of days before that though. So if you're trying to build your brand on LinkedIn, have you considered using a scheduling tool? And then as his offer, I can send you over access. I highly recommend you check out Clay for creating amazing personalizations within these cold emails, allowing them to be the best that they could possibly be. And if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions at all, and happy prospecting.